Hey, Facebookers, just letting you know we are in the backup today. No fancy toys. This is a pursuit. I got to keep an ear on the station. If your guys are local, KCAL 9, put it on. We'll be on television in just a minute. It is a stolen vehicle. Low jack got the attention of the Sheriff's Department. Started down in, I don't know what area that would have been. It was off the 105. Hawthorne-ish. Let's just call it Hawthorne. Right now, though, we're eastbound 10 freeway, 70-something miles an hour. They've already handed it off to the California Highway Patrol. Sheriff's helicopter still overhead. This vehicle still eludes officers. We're going to be KCAL 9 if you guys are local. If not, I think it'll stay on the on Facebook. Hopefully you can hear the anchors. And we'll be with you shortly. Copy. Copy, copy, copy. Oh, thank you. Well, we can tell you right now, I'm looking out the window. I haven't heard it officially, but we've got to be right about La Brea, if not just passing La Brea. You can see that vehicle right there. It was a stolen pickup truck. It actually was a low jack that got the attention of the Sheriff's Department out over by the Hawthorne area. That's the first place where we heard about it. I was on the 105 freeway. As you can tell, we're on the eastbound 10 now, so it's been going for a while. Sheriff's Department, they handed it off to the California Highway Patrol. They're the ones that are chasing that vehicle now, but the helicopter, the Sheriff's helicopter, stayed around. That's the one that's using their light right there. Now, the speeds on this pursuit's been kind of unusual. When we were first listening, he was going 65 on the freeway. Don't know if that's because of traffic, because pretty much as soon as we started watching it, the speeds have really picked up. 78 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour here on the eastbound 10. It's a pickup truck. It doesn't look like it's a newer pickup truck, but we do know stolen, and we also know low jack is what got the attention of the Sheriff's Department. You can see the vehicle using a bunch of lanes right there. Traffic's starting to build up a little bit. You can tell you looking out the window, it's going to get really, really backed up as we make our way over to the 110 freeway. And that's to be expected. How this vehicle is going to handle this traffic, hopefully nobody's going to get injured. Hopefully there's not going to be any bent metal. And the California Highway Patrol are the ones that are chasing this stolen vehicle. It just looks like a bunch of stuff, maybe just some trash. Does definitely appear to be a bag or something in there. I'm really concerned about the traffic. They were just talking about the vehicle slowing to about 30 miles an hour. Now, the California Highway Patrol or any law enforcement, it's very difficult for them to come up with some sort of plan on a freeway to bring a vehicle like this to a stop. If it was slow enough, they might be able to do a pit maneuver. There's way too much traffic out here. If he doesn't take the 110 freeway, I can tell you it's going to get even more backed up as he passes the 110. Seems to be a common move for that pickup truck that's being pursued this evening. It's been using the emergency lanes. It was using the far right, and then it just saw it using the far left. Also, very dangerous type of situation. All these other vehicles out here, they don't really know what's going on, but I can tell you right there, we're getting very close to those transitions, and you can see it kind of slowing down. If he stays on the freeway, I can tell you when we get just past the 10, probably over by, I don't want to guess at those street names. It almost comes to a stop. The California Highway Patrol may have an opportunity to do something, but they can't be too aggressive because there'll be a lot of other vehicles around. This truck continues to run. Officers from the California Highway Patrol on the ground behind it. That light being brought to you by the Sheriff's Department. They're keeping an eye on it. They're chasing it. It looks like we're going to be getting off the freeway. Coming across, they're going across a Gore Point. Nope. Looks like we're going to be taking a transition road. It looks like maybe even the, nope, we're just going to stay on. Sorry about that. Looks like we're just staying on the 10 freeway. We're going to be on the eastbound 10 now, and he's going to hit a lot of traffic here in just a moment or two. A lot of traffic out here. It does seem to bunch up like you just said, but then after that it does seem to open up again. That's not good news for the law enforcement. The vehicle, though, you can see it right there. We did get a little bit of a better look at what's in the back there. Can't really make it out. Looks like just a bunch of stuff, maybe cleaning supplies inside some buckets, maybe some crates back there. And what you were talking about earlier on looks like maybe a bag or something floating around in the back as well. Stolen vehicle. We don't have any other information on how this vehicle was stolen. Was it a crime of opportunity? Is it a relative that took it without permission? All that stuff we don't know. We just give us the blanket. It's stolen. And the low jack, that's what originally got the law enforcement's attention, and that's going to be the sheriff's department. And the sheriff's department, they've very, I want to say, conservative with their pursuit policies, but they chose to stay with it. They really tried to stay with it for a while, and but they handed it off to the California Highway Patrol. We're still on the eastbound 10, downtown Los Angeles. Can't tell you the exact road that we just crossed over. Can tell you, though, we're coming up on the East LA interchange. That's going to be here in just a moment. Alameda, I just know that just from the area, is going to be the next major off-ramp that we're going to be passing. Eastbound 10 freeway, downtown Los Angeles. Alameda is going to be the off-ramp. California Highway Patrol in pursuit of a stolen vehicle. No, he's not. Well, you know, we can't talk about the irregularity of it, but I can tell you that guy on a motorcycle, kind of a little bit of daring move right there. Obviously, he's got to know something is going on. That light, the law enforcement around there, and for him to just kind of be tooling around next to that vehicle, I don't think he has any kind of connection to it. He's just doing what Californians do. You got to, when you're on the freeway, you got to go somewhere, and you're just going to go. We're making a transition right now. Looks like we're turning to the north. This is that area where I think it's technically is the 101, but some people call it the 5. But we're making that turn right now. Looks like we're going to be turning off to the north, and I'm looking out the window just seeing where that transition is going to go. And it's definitely, we're heading northbound. I think this is the one that's the 101 that gives you that 5 option. And we're going to be on the east side of downtown Los Angeles or touching the Boyle Heights area. We're going to keep an eye on it, see if he makes some more of a transition. But it does appear that right now the only place where he can go is it's going to dump him off onto that 101 freeway that's going to take him up towards the Boyle Heights area, going by the USC Medical. But right now, traffic is, you know, it gets tight up here all the time. As there's any cars on the road, it always seems like it kind of gets constricted. It's like a natural bottleneck up here in this area. We're going to be passing the numbered streets here in just a moment. I think 6th Street, there's no more off-ramp there, but 6th Street and then all the numbers all the way up to the actual interchange. Right now, though, California Highway Patrol right behind them. Again, it's very difficult for them to bring these type of things to a stop. And this is the reason why we see these chases, and it isn't because of policy. It isn't because of anything except safety. And they don't want to just go and try to pit this thing at 60 miles an hour with a bunch of other vehicles on the roadway. That truck could flip. The suspect could be injured. An officer could be injured. So they care about these things. They really do. And they want to make sure the public is safe. That's the first concern of any of the law enforcement. And then after that is probably apprehension of that suspect. Right now, though, that pickup truck continues to elude officers. Does seem to be, we're talking about what kind of truck it is. It is a Toyota. He's favoring the right lanes, and it looks like we're going to be getting off the freeway. I'm going to see a little bit wider, or we're just transitioning on another freeway. Looks like we're going to be transitioning on to eastbound 10. This person seems to have a direction he likes, and that's going to be east, and the freeway he likes is the 10, as we're continuing on now, back onto the eastbound 10 freeway. Yeah, definitely speeding up. Well, yeah, he just wants to get out of the way of those other people right there. That's going to be the law enforcement helicopter that we've been talking about. That's the sheriff's helicopter. I think it's 21, and if it's not sheriff's 21, I don't want to just give them any disrespect. Those crews, they are, they have pride in what they do. Right now, though, the sheriff's helicopter is the one that's giving the light for the California Highway Patrol. But the sheriffs, I don't know if they just kind of backed out altogether. Sometimes they just hand it off. Sometimes they hang back a little bit. They go into what's more of a surveillance mode, because it's originally was their call, meaning they're the ones that initiated the pursuit. Right now, though, this vehicle seems to be slowing down a little bit. Soto was the last off-ramp. Eastern is probably going to be coming up here in just a moment. East Los Angeles, that's definitely where we are right now, eastbound 10 freeway. And again, he's pretty much as long as we've been seeing it, except for that little transition right there, eastbound 10 has been his want. So changing lanes again right there. Don't know if he used his blinker. I don't know if he's that type of courteous. And again, it might just be like a knee-jerk type of situation. Looks like we're going to be transitioning. If I had to guess, I'd say it's going to be southbound 110. We'll let you know here in just a moment. We were hearing earlier on about 75 miles an hour. At one point, we heard 85 miles an hour. So he's been right in that range right there. This evening, we haven't really been able to track him, so I can't get you numbers from our GPS. But I've been listening to what the California Highway Patrol, and they throw out the speed quite often. And he's been going about 70, 75 miles an hour. Very dangerous move right there as we're making that sweeping transition. If anybody's taken this ever before, it is a very sharp turn. And it's also got some dips and bumps in there. There's a lot of construction going on out here. Looks like we're making that turn to the southbound 710 as he's speeding up. The thing is, he might get a little bit of distance between him and those ground units. He might not be seeing those reds and blues in his mirror, but he's got to know that bright light is not his headlights. That's going to be the night sun from the law enforcement helicopter. So even though he's getting a little bit of distance between him and those officers on the ground, he's not getting away. He's and hugging that right lane again. Yeah. Oh no, I'm just saying it's. I actually appreciated the time. I'm trying to get our GPS up this evening so we can get you some more accurate cities, because I know everybody wants to know where is this pursuit. So we're going to get you that here in just a. And then we might get you some. Oh, go ahead. Up transition. Southbound 5 freeway is pretty sure is what we are transitioning on right there. That's also one of those very tight ones that's going to be joining a lot of traffic here in just a moment or two. I'm looking out the window, and I might be, let me double check here with Fulvio, our pilot this evening, our guest pilot as it would be, because Fulvio doesn't really fly us around that often, but I'm looking out the window, and I'm guessing that we're going northbound here. No, we're definitely going southbound. Southbound on the 5 freeway, so we're going to be heading into the Commerce area. Looking ahead, it looks like traffic is going to be just as we see it right there. And the speeds that we were talking about, we're going about 80 miles an hour, so just a little bit faster than California speed limit. And I'm doing the air quotes. Everybody knows that you just kind of go with the flow out here in the Los Angeles area. Southbound 5 freeway, that's a stolen vehicle, though, and this person hasn't been too aggressive as in like pushing up against other vehicles, but definitely has been using the emergency lanes and making erratic lane changes as he's making his decisions on which way to go. Also, I heard you guys asking or talking about it. It is just the driver in there. That's it as far as we know. I've been peeking in that window, but as we heard earlier on, they're talking about just the driver. We've been wrong in the past. Hopefully we won't be wrong on this one, but you can pretty clearly see inside that cab, and it does appear to be just the driver unless somebody's in that back seat. But also you can see it kind of moving along out here, passing a lot of these other vehicles, so that speeds are just a little bit faster than freeway. But also you got to think, the folks on the road, you see that silver vehicle right there doing what it's supposed to do. You know, you've got the lights and sirens, pull to the right, get out of the way. So maybe these people are slowing down a little bit to let this truck pass.
Flying down the road at 80 miles per hour.
Well, he's been pretty conservative with the gas pedal, and that's great for everybody involved. I can tell you we're like Garfield Bandini, southbound 5 freeway. They just said about 75 miles an hour, but it does look like just as soon as they said that, it looks like it's speeding up a little bit. I can tell you the helicopter overhead, maybe fuel issues, I don't know, but it does sound like they are going to be swapping out, so we're going to probably see that light go off, or maybe 2 lights on it there for a little bit. The California Highway Patrol, we talked about this in the past. I love bringing them up. These guys are professionals. They keep us safe on the freeways, and they watch over us. Always kind of think about that. You know, people think, you know, law enforcement, they're just out there to give us tickets. You know what? They're actually out there to help us as well. But I can tell you that they go through different divisions, and they will swap out that lead vehicle. It started out in the West LA area. That's going to be a West LA district, as it would be, or a beat for an officer, and now we're actually going to be out in the Los Angeles, and then it's going to change off again as we keep working our way southbound here on the 5 freeway. The California Highway Patrol, you can see the light changed. There's no light right now. I know the law enforcement helicopters are going to be swapping. And you can see the California Highway Patrol, the ground ones. They're the ones that are going to have to keep an eye on it right now. So they've got a couple of them right there. They're right behind them. Traffic is kind of tight. A 5, they're always working on that freeway. Someday, that's going to be a super freeway. Right now, though, it's just a couple lanes in both directions.
Stu, I have a question. Do you know if there's any rules or regulations between the CHP on how far they should stay back during a pursuit?
You know what? I bet you I'm not going to. I'm going to I never want to armchair any law enforcement, but I think the rule of thumb is just going to be safe. They want to be far enough back where they can keep an eye on it, but if the vehicle slams on the brakes or there is some sort of collision, they're not going to be involved in it. It's just like the same rules that everybody else drives with. You don't want to be so close that if something happens, you're going to be part of that accident. So they're going to keep that type of distance behind them. We've seen them in the past where they've gotten up right behind them, but in those cases, they do that basically just to let them know, hey, we're here. We're trying to get you to stop. We're trying to get your attention. If you guys just saw that on television, that one, the lead vehicle from the California Highway Patrol shut off the lights and sirens, the code 3 package as it would be, and this one it basically picked it up. So they did just swap out. I'm going to have to play with some scanner buttons, but it does look like he's changing some lanes here. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a freeway interchange. We'll get that for you here in just a second.
Okay, let's bring our viewers up to speed here because we got some new information. This is southbound 5, just past Paramount. This is in Commerce. It all started in Hawthorne, went through Mid-City, DTLA, and is now in Commerce. We understand CHP working to get a Canine unit up to that pursuit, and that's always kind of protocol because you never know how this is going to end, whether the driver's just going to pull over and stop, or they're going to crash, or they're going to foot bail, and if they get out, then they get the Canine, and that's why they typically want to get a Canine unit behind this police pursuit, because if this guy decides to bail and run out and run off and take off, then the Canine would then be able to track him down. But this is a stolen pickup truck, just one person inside, the driver behind the wheel of this stolen Toyota truck with a, it appears to be kind of like maybe a tan color or
maybe a gold or a
gold
silver
or something like that. But it's not a newer model. It had a low jack device on it, which alerted police to it being stolen.
Stu, did the sheriff's chopper come back with the skylight? Is that what we're seeing?
You know what? I'm not sure if it's going to be the California Highway Patrol, but they definitely, their new helicopter, new law enforcement helicopter took it over. I can tell you we're southbound 605 right now. Toyota Tundra. Tundra was the word that I couldn't think of a few moments ago.
Yeah.
That's what that vehicle is. We're southbound 605, so we're getting close to the 105. I was kind of curious if he was going to join up onto the 105 because that's where it kind of started. But right now, I believe we just passed over it, so that's out the window for right now. Southbound 605, that's the direction we're headed. That was from the 5 freeway south. The vehicle speeds up, it slows down. Thank goodness he hasn't been doing any kind of crazy swerving or cutting anybody off, but still higher speeds this evening, lots of freeway travel. This vehicle continues to elude law enforcement. The speeds, they've been, I'd just say, just lightly above whatever the traveling speeds on the freeway are. He has been using those lanes, the emergency lanes, and he's also been going across a couple of those gore points. Luckily, he hasn't struck anything. Luckily, he hasn't hit anything. Right now, though, California Highway Patrol, this all started with the Sheriff's Department, but now the California Highway Patrol have it, and we're continuing southbound on the 605 this evening, and they're actually calling the truck gray.
Okay.
I'm with you guys, though. I'm thinking it's more of a pewter or a gold, but you know what?
Like
Maybe they just generalize it.
It almost looks kind of a tan pickup truck. This is going to be southbound 605. It appears to be going south through this pursuit here. At one point in time, eastbound on the 10, that's southbound 710, southbound 5, southbound 605. At one point in time, is northbound on 405. But that's just kind of giving you kind of the different directions and highways that this driver is taking around LA on this Friday night. This is, of course, again, southbound 605. Pursuit here live on KCAL 9 of a driver of a pickup truck stolen, and this driver has gone all the way from one shoulder to the left to the shoulder to the right, on and off ramps, different highways as I just mentioned, and but the speeds, Crystal, have been relatively. They've been about the speed limit, maybe 10 miles, or 75.
Yeah, 75, 80 miles.
Yeah.
Stu, can you give us another locator? Where are you exactly?
We're just passing the 91 freeway right there. That's going to be what we're passing right there. Southbound 605, Bellflower-esque, I would call it. We're maybe getting into the Lakewood area here in just a moment or two. Speeds about 70, 75 miles an hour. That's what we just heard. And it's still southbound 605. If we continue on, we're going to be down in the I'm sorry, I just thought I heard something right there. I think that we'll be over by the 405 here shortly. That'll be his next freeway option, as I would guess. I'll double check that, but we can we'll figure that out. California, that's going to be the California Highway Patrol helicopter. That's over it right there. I can recognize the paint job, and you can see it in the shots of the Sheriff's Department. Really kind of out of it right now. California Highway Patrol. It seems to be all theirs. 75 miles an hour as it continues on here. Southbound 605 freeway as the California Highway Patrol makes a really pretty shot for us as they're watching it from the skies, and the ground units are following them on the ground.
Yeah, Stu, not a lot of traffic out there. I know it's 10:37, but, you know, LA, there's traffic all the time. But surprisingly, not a lot out there for this guy.
Yeah, I know, it's kind of interesting because every time we've done one of these, there's traffic, but they always seem to avoid it somehow.
Yeah.
This is another example of that, Stu.
Well, you know, that's just the way it is. If you or me just wants to go someplace, there's going to be a lot of traffic, and you're going to sit there, stop and go. But somebody else, they always seem to get that. They get that little bit of a lucky break. I don't know how lucky of a break it is, though. This guy is going to probably wind up with some handcuffs and sitting in the back of a police car here shortly. Hopefully that's the way it's going to end. Hopefully nobody's going to get injured or worse. Right now, though, they're calling light traffic on the 605 as we're making our way down into the Hawaiian Gardens area, and we're continuing southbound. I think Carson is going to be the next major off-ramp. As I look out the window, that's going to be the Carson area. Carson Boulevard, and we're going to be in the Hawaiian Gardens area. 605 southbound. Pursuit continues, 75 miles an hour.
Yeah, this is very light traffic approaching Del Alamo, as Stu just mentioned, southbound 605. And we do understand Canine unit has been brought up at somewhere a point in time into this pursuit in case the driver takes off. Now, this is not over yet by any stretch at this point in time. It continues to drive. You wonder, Crystal, when somebody takes over a vehicle like this, you know, it's not a vehicle that they're used to. If they're trying to figure stuff out, we see sometimes they're, you know, kind of seems like they're messing with stuff. He was messing with the blinkers going from left to right and doing all sorts of stuff. Now driving through the middle of the road. At one point in time, he was all the way to the left, all the way to the right, and it's just been kind of setting the speed limit at about, I don't know, it's almost like he's on cruise control.
Yeah, I just did a Google search, and Toyota Tundras have 26 to 38 gallons, so he's not going to go. Yeah, miles per gallon. Yeah. So he's not going to go all night, and who knows how much gas he has in there, but he won't be able to go all night.
Yeah, this is one of those things where you know, police are going to try to intervene only if it's safe for them to do so, and the public as well. You know, you might see this and go, how come they're not doing stop sticks? How come they're not doing a pit maneuver? Well, it's very dangerous to do that at highway speeds in the first place, and you're talking about all the cars thankfully going in the same direction, so it's a little bit safer than those cross streets in the residential areas. But you're talking about a vehicle that's as heavy as that smaller pickup truck, but it's going as fast as that. There could be a lot of damage to the to anybody that gets in the way of that. So that's the reason why they would be doing something like that at this point in time.
And that truck we do see has some sort of toolbox in the back. Also has a lot of, I don't know what it is in the back. We've seen, what do we think that is, Stu? Tools, garbage, bags?
It looks like some sort of work, whatever it is, seems like something for work. We're coming up to a lot of interchanges up here. We got the 405, the 22, as we're getting very, very close to the end of the 605. He's actually trying to speed up a little bit. Again, I don't know. We never know what these guys are thinking, and if he's thinking that he's going to speed up and do some sort of crazy interchange, and the officers are just going to throw their hands up and go, oh, we lost him, that's never going to happen. He is speeding up, though. And we're technically on the 405 freeway, so it's to believe it's going to be 405 southbound. Looks like he's switching over there to the carpool lane. And but just continuing on those speeds out there, and looks like he's picking that HOV because now he's out of the HOV. You know, those are fines also, and we've talked about that in the past as well. Law enforcement, they don't keep track of all those things. But they definitely are aware of it. Right now, the big one is eluding officers and it being in a stolen vehicle. He looks like he's moving around out here. Well, if he's making some changes, we'll let you know. I don't know if that's an off-ramp or onto another freeway, but we'll find out here very shortly.
So, Stu, we know that they were alerted by this with the LoJack. I would assume that the owner of the pickup was probably notified by LoJack, and then that person notified the police. Or does that happen directly from the LoJack device to police? Do we know?
You know what? I don't know how that stuff works at all. You know, it could have been. Could have been stolen a week ago, for all we know.
Yeah, sure.
And they just got a hold of the LoJack. And it looks like we're going to be joining the westbound 22. Wasn't too familiar with that off ramp right there, but now I'm hearing it's definitely going to be the westbound 22 as we made that transition off the 405 there. There was just a short piece of that 405 from the 605, but it looks like he might be making some decisions here. He seems to be getting behind that other vehicle. Looks like this might be an off ramp. And he is taking it. So this might switch up here a little bit. And we'll keep an eye on it, and not sure if they're going to hand this off, but it looks like we're definitely getting on the roads.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Now we're getting on some surface streets. This is just the westbound 22, just getting off in Hawaiian Gardens area. And you're going to see, you would hope that this driver would slow down just a bit as we get into these side streets here, which are a lot more dangerous.
Oh,
that's a wrong way.
Going against traffic. Yeah.
Boy.
Yep, and you see the law enforcement, they got to go around the long way. But again, the helicopter's going to stay over it. I'm not sure why the light's not staying right there, right behind it. But we'll get you some street names here in just a moment. The light's just kind of picking it up, but he's on surface streets now, and
he's moving fast.
Starting to speed up here, and again, I'm worried because we're going to start getting into intersections and lights. And I'm going to work with my pilot. No, he turned his lights off. I got to work with my pilot so we make sure we got this.
Yeah, you're thinking he probably thinks that he was able to get away, turned off his lights.
Had to give him the...
But that might be, I mean, that's obviously CHP that's in pursuit here. I was going to say, is that the truck? I think
that's the truck.
I think that's it. So they were able to catch up with him. It looks like it's a little bit of a rough road or something that was in the road there, but I don't know if it was a speed bump, but it appears to be something. It's a red light. Yeah. And he's taking a right-hand turn going right through the red light. Okay, Stu, do we have any idea where this might be now?
We're going to get these streets named. I heard it was on Studebaker, but he just made that sharp turn right there. Some construction going on these roads out here. Right now, I can tell you just looking out the window, traffic's going to be about the same, but there's a lot of red lights. There's a lot of construction, and you've got to be worried about any of those guys that are out there working on the road tonight. The construction workers, they're out there. They've got no protection. If this car veers into that construction area, it could be a real problem. Looks like he's taking a turn of opportunity. That would be a right turn right there. And they're going to start...
Definitely more desperate this driver has become. This driver has become much more desperate, much more aggressive moves. You see he went right between the dump truck and some construction barrels, just kind of threading the needle there. And this is now in Long Beach. We don't know the exact side street here, but we were off of the highway, westbound 22, after being on a number of different freeways. And now this is onto a side street, surface streets here on this Friday night dark, no headlights. And we know there is some sort of law enforcement chopper overhead. We lost the Midnight Sun earlier from the Sheriff's Department. They had to go and probably fuel up their helicopter, but no light on this vehicle at this point in time, but police are in pursuit.
I saw some lights right there. Was that the brake lights, or he doesn't have the lights on?
Okay. Yeah. But remember on the highway, he had his lights on.
Yeah.
And then when he took that wrong way, that's when he hit the lights, and then there was no helicopter overhead, and then he really kind of hit the throttle. But police were able to catch up to him pretty quickly, and have to bear in mind that they could not follow him on that wrong way. They had to go the right way to get back onto this road.
Lost a little bit of time.
There's hitting some traffic.
Running red lights. There's Long Beach PD.
Yep, Long Beach PD.
Now that was definitely a jack-in-the-box there. He went through that intersection, and now, boy, look, he's really speeding up here, Stu. Do we have any idea how fast he's going now?
Right now, I can't give you that information. I can tell you, though, I'm pretty sure we were on 2nd Street here. We're working our way over to that big traffic circle that's coming up if we keep up on the street. It lights off. He's been running a lot of those red lights. It's not a good scene for anybody involved. They are talking about Long Beach PD being notified. We did see that one unit right there at that intersection. Here's another red light. Making another street, going right through it. He's just kind of weaving around. Let's see what he does right there. California Highway Patrol, they could hit it if the speeds are right, but I guess that driver, he's just not going to let them get that close. running those lights out here this evening, getting more and more dangerous. We're coming up to that circle area here in just a moment. And they're talking about it being dangerous. I can hear them making a conversation amongst the officers on the ground, or the California Highway Patrol. They're saying, we're not residential, but a lot of pedestrians out here on the roads tonight, and there's also a lot of civilians, and they're back. They want to back off just a little bit. Will they let it go? I doubt it. There's that traffic circle. Again, you don't know what his plan is, if he has one at all. Maybe he's going to just make a big circle. Maybe he's got a direction that he's planning on going. It definitely does look like he made a decision there. We'll get you that street here in just a moment. But he's continuing to run, and definitely in the Long Beach area. Haven't seen the Long Beach PD in the area to take it over.
Well, he really takes off.
California Highway Patrol.
Yeah, this is going to be
California Highway Patrol. They are right behind him. That helicopter is still there. That light is still there. He's a little bit higher up, keeping an eye on it, because if he makes a break for it, it's going to be. He's in the right spot to
hitting a little bit of traffic
to take it over.
Is that the same Jack in the Box we just went by?
I don't know if that's. I don't know if he's going around in circles or not. But Joe, what's so dangerous about this? It's nighttime. Look at the aggressive driving. He's weaving his way in and out of the traffic. He's ignoring the red lights, putting on the brakes now. Going through those intersections. I saw some people standing at one intersection. There's pedestrians out there. It's dark. He doesn't have his headlights on. This is a stolen vehicle. You can almost feel the desperation that this driver has on this police pursuit, hitting this neighborhood and going at these faster speeds.
Yeah, is that a CHP or is that Long Beach, Stu?
That's going to be California Highway Patrol. We're on Pacific Coast Highway. You just crossed Cherry. That was going to be Cherry where we just passed. They are keeping a very close eye on the street lights out here. They're calling it out well in advance, green or not. But you can see like other folks right there, like that vehicle. He was probably just going to make his right turn. And like Jeff mentioned, that vehicle, no lights on, high speeds. You're just not expecting that.
Yeah, really dangerous.
Solid red coming up. This is going to be Walnut right there. But thank goodness there are no cars, but there are pedestrians, and just that one pedestrian walking across the street. Was he in danger? No, but still officers see that, and they understand that, there's that one guy. There might be other pedestrians out here. They've got to keep an eye on it, and they've got to keep the public safe.
Now he's slowing down, I guess, coming to an intersection. Maybe
another red
goes through red. At least he's slowing down to see if there's any cross traffic when he hits these red lights. But this is PCH in Long Beach. This all began at Hawthorne earlier tonight. 10:07 is when Stu was overhead when we first went live with this breaking news of this police pursuit of a stolen pickup truck. This is a low jack device inside that alerted police, and they were able to intercept him. Comes into this intersection and again kind of weaves his way through there.
But at least he was going slow enough to dodge those two cars. We have seen him pick up speed, slow down, but at least he was going slow, so thankfully he didn't plow into anyone. But
we got an officer up here. You wonder if this is going to be, could there be spike strips?
And you can see that right there. That's Long Beach PD. They're assisting by keeping the intersection clear. That was a solid red right there, just kind of moving out into traffic, lights and sirens. If there was anybody out there, they would have seen that, and they would have been aware that something's going on. Even though this person is a suspect and also driving very recklessly, again, law enforcement, they are out here to keep you safe. That's what they do. That's going to be Long Beach Boulevard. I know that from the railroad tracks. Don't know what he's doing right there. Maybe he's thinking if he drives a little crazier, they might back off, but it's not going to happen. Looks like he just was going on the wrong side there just for a moment or two, or maybe he just kind of lost his way there, or was dropped his phone. Gosh only knows. Smaller streets out here. We're still on the Pacific Coast Highway, and there's a freeway coming up. That's going to be the 710. So we've been going quite a while and been moving quite along a lot. Look at that! You got somebody there just throwing stuff at that vehicle. Maybe he's done with the pursuit. He's probably watching our coverage, saying, you know what, I'm done with this.
It's not a good move, though.
But the law enforcement, not a good move. Law enforcement does not appreciate that at all.
Yeah, because you're obviously safer.
It just kind of shows you, though. it shows you how the public feels about stuff like this as well. California Highway Patrol still behind them. We're on Pacific Coast Highway using that center lane for no reason. There's not a lot of traffic out here. Solid green, but the next thing we're going to see is the 710. And let's see if he makes an effort to get on it. But right now, he just looks like he's going to be crossing it.
Yeah, that was PCH at Magnolia, that last red light that he went through, some major intersections there. Thankfully, Crystal, we went through a number of major intersections without any sort of accident, without anybody sideswiping anybody. And you got to give credit to the police. We saw a number of Long Beach officers that were going in those intersections. Now, this is what, Stu?
Southbound 710. Anybody that knows this area, there's not a lot of freeway right here. It basically just kind of dead ends down onto Ocean Boulevard, so we're going to keep an eye on it. There is little traffic out here on this portion. We're going to move the, he's turning his headlights on. Apparently he's got some love for the freeway, but not so much for the surface streets. Making his way southbound on the 710 freeway from Pacific Coast Highway, so it's not a lot of freeway out here. It's going to come to an end here very quickly, and we'll see what he does. California Highway Patrol in the Long Beach area right now as this pursuit continues. Slowing down a little bit. We're going back across some of those gore points right there, making those moves. Dangerous, yes, always, especially if you're running from officers. Right now, though, this vehicle continues. Luckily, we haven't seen it make contact with any vehicles. One car actually was changing lanes, almost hit him on Pacific Coast Highway, and then we did see that one person, a pedestrian, looked like he threw a water bottle or something at that vehicle. Looks like he's trying to join the off-ramp right here, and just kind of squeezing his way on there. I think this is going to take us onto Ocean. Don't quote me on that. We're going to keep an eye on it, but a lot of traffic out here, and that might be his downfall. Maybe some of these folks doing what they're supposed to do might actually come to a stop.
Does this guy think he's helping police?
Might not get out of the way.
I wonder if he thinks he's helping. Well, maybe not. It just was down to one lane, I guess.
Yeah, I think he was just, not
nervous.
paying attention. I think this is going to be Atlantic is where we're at right now, or 7th Street. 7th Street.
Now, this is a one-way.
Making his way.
Yeah, thankfully, this is a one-way street. Now, they're going to obviously have to slow down for the, there's a red light, again, going through. That's probably 10 or 12 of those he's gone through tonight. This is a stolen pickup truck pursuit. CHP behind this is going to be all the way down in Long Beach. I just wonder, Stu, I mean, I know we can't keep track, but this has been quite a bit of mileage we've put in tonight.
Yeah,
we started at 10:07. It's been almost an hour later. Think of all the places we've gone, from Hawthorne, we've gone to Mid-City, San Pedro, downtown, Commerce, Hawaiian Gardens, Long Beach, and now here.
Whoa. Yeah, and that's just a little bit of oversteering on the driver's part right there. Just kind of lost it going around the corner. So kind of makes you wonder, though, what this guy is thinking right there. California Highway Patrol, they had a little bit of that opportunity maybe to get behind him or might have blocked him in, but it happened so fast. Just one of those crazy moves out there. They're making another U-turn. I think he's going to stay away from that U-turn thing. He didn't seem to like that too much. Driving out here, looks like he's just kind of weaving in and out of traffic. We'll get you some streets here in just a moment, but it's getting really tight. These are getting very packed out here. This is the area where I would almost guess this is going to be Atlantic as he's making his way on this out onto here. But you can see the residential and businesses out here. Thank goodness we.
Okay, we might have some technical problems. We might have just lost our signal. Let's bring it up. Let's go back. Stu, this is in Long Beach, and you wonder if he just doesn't know how to handle, the back end of a pickup truck, not a lot of weight, and when he was trying to make that U-turn, just kind of got out from under him, huh?
Who knows, really? I just got away from him there behind that building, went over that center median. We're northbound on Long Beach Boulevard right there, passing 6th Street right there. So that's where we are right now. This is a basically downtown Long Beach. Another red light, so he's slowing down, and a lot of vehicles out here. This area, it does get a little dense, a little packed, and again, law enforcement, they have to obey the laws. They got to slow down when they get to those intersections. He seems to be driving a little bit slower. I don't know if that little incident there kind of shook him up or what happened. Hopefully it's enough to make him think, you know what, I don't want to hurt anybody, I don't want to hurt myself, maybe I should just kind of pull over. We haven't seen that, but I can tell you we're still northbound on Northbound Long Beach, we just passed 10th Street, so we're in the numbered areas. But northbound Long Beach, I'm looking out the window, looks pretty much like what we see right here. Not a lot of traffic out here this evening, which is probably a good thing. 40 miles an hour, and we're just making our way northbound. And you know, maybe California Highway Patrol might do something to maybe bring this to an end. We've had it in the past where, and again, I agree, we don't want to give away any secrets, but I think everybody's kind of getting fed up with it, and that little spin out right there, that might have been enough for them to say, you know what, this guy's starting to get dangerous. We want to bring this to an end. So we'll see what happens, but you know, the opportunity's got to be there. And we really haven't seen that this evening. Coming up on another major intersection, and it does look like it's a solid red, but the lights, luckily the lights just changed.
Okay, it looks like he's going through the intersection, moving slow, but you see some pedestrians over there to the right. So thankfully thankfully they were not walking across the street, because this guy, he has gone through, 12, 15 red lights. He does move slow when he goes through the intersection. It appears he is checking the scene out, but either way, he's blowing through red lights.
I think this guy,
here we are.
And it's going to go through there. This guy, I mean, we saw that aggressive driving where he tried to jump the median there.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's desperate, but at the same time, you just wonder if he's lost.
What?
Because we started all the way in Hawthorne. We've gone on so many different roads. Okay,
well,
Stu.
now he's just starting to hit some. Now he's just starting to hit some of those cones and just acting a little bit erratic. Possibly, he's hoping that something like that will make the officers back off, but it won't. Right now, though, the only thing that I'm concerned about is there is some sort of road construction going on this evening. And again, those workers, they're out there. They have no protection. They just have those cones and their own wits. And if you've got a vehicle like this barreling down, and maybe this guy is just acting a little nutty, and then all of a sudden there's pedestrians, this could end very, very badly. So situations like this always really get me on edge. I can tell you we're still northbound on Pacific Coast Highway. I think if we haven't passed Willow, we're going to pass Willow here shortly. They are behind it. And you can see them, he's making a turn on Willow.
All right, well, we're going to let Stu wrap up this really quickly, as we're going to give you the very hit, run, and details of this chase that started about 10:07 here on KCAL 9. Now, this started in Hawthorne when police were alerted to a low jack device of a stolen pickup truck. They tried to engage, and then the driver took off. That was in Hawthorne, and then Mid-City, San Pedro, downtown, Commerce, Hawaiian Gardens, Long Beach, northbound 405, eastbound 10, southbound 710, southbound 5, 605, 405, westbound 22, and here we are now after getting on PCH, southbound 710, back here in Long Beach.
Yeah, making lots of moves. And we're going to ask our viewers to go ahead and change over to Channel 2. Jeff Michael, Sharon Tay, they will continue our coverage on CBS 2 News in
just about another minute. Yeah. So we will have the very latest on KCAL9.com and Facebook as well, as Stu Mundel is overhead, and we'll continue on CBS 2 here in just a few minutes. But we'll.
Oh, but things are not sinking and the Wi-Fi is stinking. You got a smart house, but dumb internet.
Get Fios by Frontier with faster upload speeds than Spectrum.
You got a friend on the digital frontier.
Let your style blossom this season at Living Spaces, where spring is in full swing. We're offering fresh, natural, colorful collections at prices you won't find anywhere else. You can go bright in your bedroom, breezy in your living room, lush in your dining room, and pull off a full home makeover for less. Get inspired in store or shop online at livingspaces.com, and we'll hook you up with same-day delivery and pull off a full home makeover for less. Online or in-store at Living Spaces.
Living Spaces.
I just feel like I'm here because of the work of Coleman.
We support Susan G. Komen.
Good evening. We begin with breaking news here on CBS 2.
Stu Mundel is live over a stolen pickup truck chase. And Stu, what's your location right now? This has been pretty intense.
It's been intense for sure. We're going to be on Cherry. We're just passing over the 405 freeway right there. Long Beach, Signal Hill area, that's where we are. But it isn't Long Beach PD in pursuit. It's actually the California Highway Patrol. There you see one of the vehicles right there. They have a helicopter above it as well. This actually started all the way up, we heard about it, in the Hawthorne area. It all started with a LoJack hit, meaning that that vehicle has some sort of anti-theft protection on it. Officers or deputies from the Sheriff's Department originally got the word that this vehicle was in their area and it was pinging. So look at that. That's the kind of stuff we've been seeing all night. That's what started the pursuit. Was on the freeways, on a lot of freeways. Basically, Long Beach is the only area where he's been on the roads, and we've been watching. Luckily, we haven't seen any collisions. We've seen a couple of close calls. We did see the vehicle lose control once, making a U-turn. California Highway Patrol has had it pretty much for the entire chase, even down here in the Long Beach area, but we did see some law enforcement help, as it would be, or some cooperation, as Long Beach PD actually cleared a couple of intersections that were red lights as this stolen vehicle was barreling down on those solid reds, keeping people safe. But the California Highway Patrol, they're the ones behind it. You can see that vehicle right there from the California Highway Patrol. They are getting a little, as I don't know if you can say, tired of chasing this vehicle, but it has been going for a while, and they might be trying to bring this to an end in their own way here shortly.
Well, they had the options, Stu, when they're on surface streets. If he gets down below 40 miles an hour, they do have the option to do the pit maneuver.
Well, they definitely have that option, but again, this is everything. Is all those conditions have to be right, and maybe that just hasn't really happened yet. Lights off again. This is not a good sign, especially on these darker. I would almost call them residential, but these are larger streets out here in the Long Beach area. But still, dark. Darker roads. Lights off. We saw a couple of close calls with civilians earlier on. That was a green light right there. Another green light, which is very lucky for everybody involved. Why he shuts those lights off, I can't tell you. It's probably not helping him at all either, and it just makes that situation much more dangerous.
Well,
California Highway Patrol closing that gap. Let me get a little bit wider. And we'll keep an eye on it, obviously, and we can tell you that we're working our way. We're still in the Long Beach area, northbound on, I believe we're back on Cherry. And
going south or north?
Making our way out towards East Market. We are looking like we're going in a northbound direction.
Okay. You talked about conditions. They have to be perhaps going around 40 miles an hour in order for them to, or below, to conduct to carry out a pit maneuver. This guy has been going way above that. This chase has been extremely high speeds.
And there it is right now, too.
This guy is going really, really fast. Not only on the freeways was he going fast, but on surface streets as well. We haven't quite clocked him. Have you recorded or gotten word of a speed, Stu?
Well, on the freeway, he was going 75, 80 miles an hour. On the roads, he was staying right about 40, 45, sometimes a little bit faster. But it's never been, it's never been like that tedious, slow, like 30 miles an hour or anything like that. He's been going about the freeway speeds. On the freeway, he seems to like to use the emergency lane. I can tell you, looking out the window, we have another freeway coming up. I think that's going to be the 91 freeway, Artesia Freeway, arriving here shortly. He's been on a lot of the freeways. He had a couple of opportunities, but he doesn't take them all the time, so we'll see what happens right there. Luckily, another green light as we're getting our way closer. I think that was Harding. It's not a big street out here in the Long Beach area, North Long Beach, but definitely coming up on the freeway here just in a moment.
Well, and there's really no rhyme or reason to the decision somebody makes when they're in this situation, the adrenaline pumping. We wonder why he turns his lights on or off. I mean, in the way he may be thinking, maybe that's harder for the police to see him. He's not, of course, cognizant of the fact that they're watching him overhead from a helicopter, as are we. So there's no losing this guy by turning his lights off. Obviously, he's not going to evade anyone. Moves off to the right lane.
Sometimes, coming back around, a green light. Luckily, that's going to be Artesia, so the next one we're going to see is the freeway.
91,
and it does look like he's making a hard right there, so we're going to be getting back onto the freeway.
Oh, the freeway.
That kind of just, onto the freeway, 91.
Our picture froze
all right, well,
just a little bit. But
it's all right. We'll get Sky 2 back in just a minute. A lot of times when we're at a lower altitude, what happens is the microwave signal breaks up. But as soon as Stu gets up maybe another 300-500 feet, we'll get that picture back. But what we've been looking at is one person, we believe it's a man, who stole a truck, had a load jack, and it didn't seem to be a particularly, attractive theft because it was like a work truck.
Yeah, it seemed like somebody's work truck. This started apparently in Hawthorne we picked it up around 10 o'clock or 10:15 tonight. It's been going ever since. It's been going at very high rates of speed. You're looking at some video that we recorded from earlier. You can see how erratic he's driving. He's been getting on the freeway, off the freeway, and mainly he's been staying in the Long Beach area on the surface streets there, not knowing where to go, but of course turning off his lights, thinking he could hide from police, but clearly he's police are right there. In fact, CHP is right behind him.
Right.
Stu Mundel and we have in Sky 2. Let's continue on with what you're seeing.
Well, we've been watching him. He's got back onto the freeway. This is the first time we've seen him without the lights on the freeway. I think we just passed Lakewood Boulevard. If we didn't, it's going to be the next one, next off-ramp. Definitely just Lakewood Boulevard. That tells me we're Bellflower-ish. You can see a little bit of traffic, but not any kind of major traffic. But see, every now and then when it gets sandwiched between two cars like that, some of these folks are law-abiding citizens, believe it or not, and they're trying to get out of the way. They see those lights and sirens. They're going to get off to the right, and that could cause a problem, especially with this vehicle with no lights on. This guy is just creating all kinds of hazards for himself and others out here this evening. That is not good, and it's very dark out there. The 91 freeway, of course, it's lit. All the California freeways are lit, but it's a little bit darker out here this evening, and we even kind of lose it out the window every now and then. The law enforcement, though, they are on it. I can tell you there is a light being lit up to the freeway. That light right there, that's actually from the California Highway Patrol helicopter. I can tell you also California Highway Patrol doing a little swap out right now. I see some of the vehicles down there moving along pretty quickly, so they are going to be catching up. They are going to make their presence known. Basically, the way they do that is show those reds and blues in the mirror.
Stu, is he getting on the 605?
Back onto the 605.
Yeah.
605.
605 north?
He has a north or south right here, so we'll figure out. He hasn't made the decision yet. It looks like we're choosing northbound on the 605.
See, now that's not that we're trying to establish a pattern with this guy, but he did go north on the 405 earlier, took the 10 eastbound into East LA, got onto the 710. So, I mean, he's basically made a round robin of most of LA County. And that the issue of him having his lights off at high speed on the freeway.
Whoa. Yeah. A little maneuver right there, switching out freeways on us and driving against onto that gore point. Again, that's not the first time we've seen him do a stunt like that, but again, just very dangerous. You cut off another person right there just driving along. You're not expecting any kind of pickup truck to jump across the freeway. Jeff, you brought it up too. He's driving around without his lights on. He's not getting away from anybody. That light that you see right there, little all over the place, but that light is the California Highway Patrol helicopter. So they are keeping an eye on it. They are calling it out. And I can tell you we got back onto the 91, and it looks like we're going back the same direction we came.
And he's going so fast.
But Stu, the issue here as well is when he has his lights off on a freeway, that's another component that the CHP has to take into consideration when putting others in danger. And
definitely.
And so now they have to try to figure out whether or not they want to back off to slow him down, or whether they want to try to get a unit ahead of him. That's rarely a tactic I've seen used by the CHP. And he looks like he's at least 10, 15, 20 miles an hour faster than the flow of traffic right now.
Definitely.
Without lights on.
And he's been picking up speed along the way. You can see the California Highway Patrol helicopter just going through our shot right there. He's kind of getting back into his groove, got that light on it. And Jeff, that's exactly one of the reasons why they use that light. It's not just so they can clearly see the car. They're trying to warn folks there while they're driving. Yes. It might not be the reds and blues, but it is something. And people driving along will be like, wow, why did it get so bright? And they're going to look in their mirrors. They're going to think maybe somebody's flashing their brights. But whatever it is, that's the public's attention. And that's what they're doing. They're helping out the public. They're keeping the public safe. This guy is really starting to move out. And I know you were asking about speeds earlier on. I'm not so sure about that. We're probably still playing a little catch-up because according to my GPS, we're going up over 100 miles an hour. I'm thinking he's probably going about 80 or so, maybe 90, but he is definitely speeding up. This is some of the fastest we've seen him this evening. He is starting to get that desperate, I want to get away type of feel I would just assume by what we're watching. But they got the helicopter over him.
Question for you. I got lost on the cloverleaf when he was making that dangerous move. Is he eastbound or westbound on the 91?
I'm looking out the window, and I would say we are westbound, 91 freeway, and I'll get you an off-ramp here in just a second.
So you're heading over toward the 710.
Basically. Yep, we made a big old U-turn is what we did.
Oh, my goodness. You know, at some point, this guy's got to run out of gas, because I don't think a Toyota Tundra has...
Well, it depends how much gas he had to begin with.
Much. I mean, of a tank, I mean, who knows? But at some point, hopefully, this guy will run out of gas.
It's happened before.
Well, we can hope, but a lot of times, you know, a couple hours driving around, you know, I'm sure anybody's driven all day on a tank of gas, especially on the freeways, and he's making good time. He's not in any kind of stop and go, so I'm sure he's getting really great gas mileage. Coming up on one of those freeways,
is that the 710?
See if he's going to make another crazy transition. Yep, I believe it is going to be the 710. Jeff, you're always on it. And he's picking the middle lanes, but we've seen him make those crazy last-minute decisions. Hopefully he won't cut anybody off if he does, but definitely in that middle, it looks like he's starting to lean over to the right, so we'll take a look and see what it is. He's getting onto a 710. But where he goes, we'll find out in just a moment.
Yeah, indeed. And
it looks like he's heading north.
Yeah.
Using the emergency lane shoulder off there to get around that one car. Awesome. Lights back on, so maybe he's found it a little easier for himself to drive with his lights on and realize that it hasn't helped him out to keep them off.
In case you're just joining us, you're watching in a very intense pursuit that's happening in the Paramount area. This CHP in pursuit of this pickup truck, a stolen pickup truck. Apparently, officers got a ping from a LoJack in Hawthorne. That's where we picked up the chase that began. It was gone pretty much for about an hour. Through the Southland,
over an hour now, yeah.
You know, through Southern California streets, with the freeways, the surface streets.
He's on an off-ramp.
He is
getting off at Alondra.
Getting off at Alondra.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's right in Compton, East Compton area. Alondra, he can go east or west.
Okay. And for most of this chase, he had his lights.
Does one of those, gets back onto the freeway deals, but it doesn't look like he took that opportunity, so he's staying on Alondra right now. I can tell you, looking out the window, it's going to be one of those same ones. There's a lot of these roads down in the southern area of Los Angeles, really wide, and at night they seem to be, you know, very light traffic. The red lights, though, those are going to be the problems. There's going to be folks out here that are not expecting to have some guy run a red light. The lights and sirens from the California Highway Patrol probably alerting a lot of the folks out here that something's up, and hopefully they will do what they need to do. Get out of the way, pull over to the right, like we've been taught to do so many times.
It looks like
that pickup truck lights are back on. Go ahead.
It looks like he's headed towards a residential area.
Well, it depends if he's going east or west on Alondra. I can't tell.
It's a mixture of residential and business.
Is he in Compton? Is he going west into Compton or east into Paramount?
We're making our way back into Long Beach, North Long Beach, Compton area. Sorry, my bad, Compton area. So, yeah, we're definitely going westbound. Another major red light right there, solid red, and he's making his way through. California Highway Patrol slowing with their lights on as they're supposed to. Now he's got his lights off again. This is just, it's just one of those ones where they've got to bring this thing to an end. If they use spike strips, they might be able to, but the speeds have never been slow enough, or the conditions not correct for law enforcement. We just barely saw it, but there was a vehicle just barely got out of his way there. Slowing down, thank goodness, wondering why, probably a red light.
But see right there, Stu, let me just interrupt you, Stu. Let me just interrupt you. See that black and white right there? That black and white was probably a sheriff's unit in Compton clearing that intersection, because at least when they're down on surface streets, they can use local law enforcement to get ahead of him, to block traffic so he doesn't get into a TA or get T-boned by somebody when he busts a red light. So that was a wonderful bit of police work there, whether by CHP or by LA County sheriffs in Compton. And that's law enforcement keeping people safe ahead of the pursuit.
Right.
Exactly.
That's right. We saw that in Long Beach as well, at least one time. There you go, through another solid red light right there. I wish I would have got that street for you, but anyways, he's continuing on. Like you said, residential, it is getting more residential, but the streets are going to stay large out here, just making his way.
Should be going right by the Compton Airport, Stu.
Yep, that's where we're coming up on just here in a moment or two. It looks like another solid red, but by the time he gets there, hopefully it'll be green. California Highway Patrol, they've got their hands full this evening. A lot of different officers from a lot of different of their agencies. It's all California Highway Patrol. But you see that one vehicle that you were talking about, he swapped out. They swapped out the SUV for that Charger right there. So now he's the one that's basically the lead right now, the primary. But the pursuit continues. And like you said, we're coming right up onto the, just passing it right now, Compton Airport.
All right, now he's backed off. That lead black and white backed off to let him go. And one has to wonder if it's because there's something. Oh, he backed off just a little bit.
I think he was going
the light was red. He had to slow down for the red light.
And this is where they have more options, obviously, than they do on the freeway. The problem, as Stu has pointed out, Sharon, the speed's just been too high to pit him. There is the opportunity for a spike strip if they get ahead of him, but we haven't seen that happen yet.
You know, I find it so difficult.
Coming up on Central right there, another solid red on Central, and he seems to be in that left lane, which is going to be a problem. Folks just driving through that green like they should. That's Central right there, making his way through. That lead unit right behind him. I'm pretty sure the reason why he slowed down the way he did was that was a solid red, and he had to make sure that there were no other cars coming. They have rules they have to obey. The bad guy, no rules, and that seems to be a lot of times the problem. Looking out the window can tell you almost no traffic out here this evening, but the speed's just about 50 miles an hour. Definitely good. We're going to be getting into the Rancho Dominguez area if we are not into it already. Compton, Rancho Dominguez, the next freeway is going to be the 110. It's not that far ahead. Let's see if he takes it.
I don't think there's an Alondra on-ramp on the 110, though. I think maybe there is, but I don't remember there being one.
Stu, how do they know where to lay the spike strips when the driver is driving so erratically and making all these turns all down side streets or whatnot?
Well, if there was somebody out here with some spike strips, they probably would be out here on Alondra Boulevard right now, just kind of waiting and hoping that he stays on Alondra. That would probably be the only way that they could get ahead of something like this. I'm not saying there is any, and I really honestly haven't heard of any. Right now, though, that truck still has all 4 tires, so that's not going to be the reason why this thing comes to an end. I can tell you another solid red light is coming up, and we're getting into a very industrial area, some slow-moving trucks, but again, slow-moving, that could be bad, it could be good, a couple other vehicles, but I'm sure anybody in the area is going to hear those lights and sirens. Going to just get a little bit wider. That solid red turned into a solid green, so they got lucky right there. But you can see folks out here, they are obeying the rules. They're just kind of getting over and pulling off, and we're coming up onto the 110 freeway here in just a moment. But like you said, he's got to figure out how to get on it. In this case, he's going to go under it.
No, he'd have to take Figueroa North and try to get on after that, but I don't think he has the wherewithal with the GPS to do that. I don't frankly think he cares. I think he just wants to keep going for as long as he can. He knows this is going to be over eventually. He'll go under the 110, which is just about to happen. That should be Figueroa right there.
Yep.
And then he'll cross him where Alondra becomes 161st Street.
He seems to have slowed down somewhat.
He does seem to be slowing down just a little bit, and I'm not. We've seen this in the past. Don't know why. Gosh, we can guess a lot of times. Sometimes we can actually see him on the cell phone. In this case, we haven't actually seen any lights inside the cab. But like Jeff said, the street's getting a little bit more narrow. He's got a couple of opportunities coming up here, but he seems to get on these roads and just continue on these tight little roads, even if he has an opportunity to go north or south. Right now, we're just solid westbound. And there we go. We're going to make a southbound turn.
Okay.
Did he cross under the 110? Did I miss that?
Yes, he did.
Yes,
he did. Okay.
So then
I think this is going to be Vermont.
Yeah, right. South on Vermont.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gardena Boulevard. We're on Gardena Boulevard. I got corrected. I got schooled.
All right.
So we're southbound Gardena from Alondra, kind of just making his way. And this has been what we've been seeing right there. And they're just in the area.
Gardena's a east-west street.
Well, you're right.
Yeah.
And you know what? I was right. We are on Vermont.
Okay, Vermont. Yeah, that makes more sense.
You know. So anyway, yeah, we definitely are on Vermont, and but definitely slowing down. Don't know why, but it seems like the speeds are getting a little slower. Maybe
I'm thinking he's lost.
Yeah.
When you slow down when you don't know what you want to do.
Exactly.
We all do the same thing. We turn the radio down and we slow down and say, what the heck am I going to do now?
This would be a good time to pit. No, I guess not. Traffic.
Well, the problem when the pit maneuver is a great tool, but they need to have 2 to 3 units, and they also don't want to have other motorists around, because those motorists can end up both in the line of fire and also in the line of danger should that truck be able to accelerate in the opposite direction.
Where is he now, Stu?
Yep.
Is he getting on the freeway?
We're getting back onto the 91. That's going to be the 91 right there. So it looks like he's making his way back onto the 91, basically going eastbound, doing the back where we came from type of deal. Picking up speed for sure. This is one of those ones again. I mean, I don't know how many times I can say it. I'm just throwing my hands up in the air up here. It's like, where are you going? This is just, you can go make these big circles. Even though you might not see the guys on the ground behind you, the helicopter's going to be above you, and they're going to know where you're at. He's just biding his time right now, as it would be. But the longer he does this, the more chance something not so good is going to happen, and that's what everybody's concerned about. The truck continues to drive. We haven't seen any spike strips. He's gone over a couple of those medians, and the tires all seem to be holding. We don't see any damage to that vehicle either. Speed's really starting to pick up out here. He's starting to climb back over to the right side, but we've seen that in the past. He's been using the emergency lanes. Is he going to pick an off-ramp? Well, who knows? You just can't even begin to guess. But right now, we're still moving along pretty quickly. If we haven't passed Central, we're going to here in just a moment. And again, this is going to be eastbound 91 Freeway. And it looks like we are pulling over to the right again, but it might just be to pass those cars that are just annoying him by going a little bit slower.
He can get back on the 710 and just make the same loop he's made before. Which is not unusual.
I hope not.
I do too.
I know, me too.
Yeah. And it looks like we are picking an off-ramp.
Okay.
And
I wonder what he's trying to do.
Wilmington.
Okay.
Probably.
Yeah, Wilmington. Up. No, yeah, look at that. He fooled us all. Yeah. He got back onto the freeway right there. But yeah, that was definitely Wilmington. And looked like he was going to get off, but then he decided not to. Again, he's not fooling anybody. The officers on the ground aren't going to give up. The helicopter is going to stay over him. And they're definitely calling out the streets, and they're definitely calling out his location, and they want this thing to come to an end. Thank goodness we haven't seen anybody get hurt or any bent metal this evening as this stolen truck continues to elude officers.
There have been so many technological advances that just haven't quite made themselves available on the road yet. I remember years ago, or a few years ago, they were testing, and Stu, you know this, and Sharon, you too, when they were testing a gun that could fire a dart from the grill of a CHP unit, hit the back end of a car, and electronically put a signal through the chassis of that car and turn the engine off. Just never quite made it to the road.
I think it costs too much money.
Well, and it just also had a lot of other issues probably.
Yeah,
but,
probably,
eventually we're going to get in there. And the low jack has the ability, some of them do, some models, to disable the engine.
Right.
And you wonder why they haven't done that.
Well, maybe this one not equipped with that. I can tell you, he's speeding up quite a bit. We're just touching the triple digits, or we were there just for a moment or two, into the 90s there. 90 mile an hour is what we were talking about. Now starting to slow down a little bit more as there's some other traffic out here. California Highway Patrol, they've got a bunch of other vehicles down there. We saw them on the side of the road. We are doing a transition, probably going to be onto the 110. We'll see. But then again, he has the 405 option. Is it the 710 already?
Well, you should have passed the 110 a long time ago.
Let's see. And so we'll keep an eye on him, see which way. 710 freeway. So we'll keep an eye on him. Looks like we're going south once again on the 710. So this is just one of those ones where we just keep going round and round and round. California Highway Patrol, they're down there, they're chasing them, and I get a lot of folks. They always on the social media giving me links to new law enforcement tools. Devices and all kinds of trickery to bring these things to pursuits to an end. And what I always write back is it's all fine and good, but you still have to get that device close enough to the car to make it stop. Looks like we're picking an off-ramp right here. So it looks like we're going to be getting back off the freeway, and it does look like a little bit of traffic, of course, underneath some trees. We'll see if the California Highway Patrol takes advantage of this moments of slowness, but it does look like he's just kind of weaving in and out, getting just back onto the freeway.
Yeah.
You know, to give you an idea of just how the scales are tilted here, this is probably the first time this guy has been in a long-term pursuit.
And he's turned off his lights.
And he turned his lights off again. The CHP, the last numbers the CHP put out, I think was a couple of years ago. The CHP does 8,600 of these a year. So you wonder who's more practiced at this and who's going to come out on top. It's the CHP.
Yep. Yeah, I've said that in the past too. It's, this guy that we're following right here without his lights on, racing down the freeway right now, not a professional. Those guys in the black and whites with the flashing lights, those guys are professionals. And you know what, that is the problem. You've got this guy in the front driving quickly, endangering lives, endangering himself. And then you have the professionals that basically all they can do is try to warn the public. That's all they can do right now, and or get ahead of it. But how do you, like you mentioned a couple times, how do you get ahead of it? You can't. You don't know where this guy is really going. You don't know, and how much resources are you going to put into this, trying to position vehicles all over like it's some sort of chess game. It just doesn't work like that.
Yeah. Stu, have I asked you this? How many is there only one person, the driver, in that truck?
You haven't, and it is. As we understand it, earlier on we were peeking in the windows, and we did hear the earlier on the sheriff's department saying it's just the driver. It's a single occupant, so that would be the driver. We're made another transition there. I want to figure out where we are right now, and I'll get that for you here in just a second. But we did just do another transition, and I'm guessing we're back onto the 105, right, Fulvio? 105, yeah.
You know, it was just earlier this year, I believe, not long ago, a couple weeks ago, there was a CHP pursuit up in Stockton, and there was a crash, 3 cars involved in that crash. One person died as a result of that, and the CHP is mindful of that. That's the first thing they have on their minds, is keeping everybody safe, not pushing someone into a position where they're going to put others in danger, but at the same time, not losing someone who is obviously already dangerous to the public. It's a real quandary for law enforcement.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it's one of those things. It's well above my pay grade. I wouldn't be the one to want to make that decision, and of course they're thinking that people's lives could be in danger, and this is part of the equation. And this is the reason why sometimes we see them just give them up. There, the lights are off again. I don't know why they continue to do this. Obviously, hasn't changed anything in the past. It's not going to change anything in the future. They're going to keep an eye on it. He's in the carpool lane. Now he's moving out of the carpool lane. 105 freeway. What city are we in? I'm trying to figure that out. But we're coming up on Norwalk. And the 105 looks like I know it's going to be coming to an end out here, so he's going to have to make a decision which way he wants to go on the 605, and it looks like he is making that decision. He's pulling over to the right. So we'll keep an eye on it and see where he goes.
Well, he has to do something because they're dead ends.
Yes.
Yep. And there he is, cutting some folks off, trying to get that pole position, but it's just really dangerous. And look at all those cars just zipping by there this evening, making that turn and getting a little distance. But I'm sure the California Highway Patrol is going to get up on him very soon.
Take a turn onto the 605 or onto Studebaker? Onto Studebaker.
He took it onto Studebaker.
All right.
Yeah, definitely on Studebaker.
Well, now our options come back. If he could just slow down and give them
speed.
I just don't want to see him hit somebody in an intersection. Yeah, he's picking up speed. His lights are off. I haven't heard the word solid red, so that's a plus. I'm just leading him just a little bit. Slowing down, so there's probably a red light coming up here because we've seen him do that in the past. Yep, there it is. It's a red light. He's making a sharp turn. They're driving against traffic. We've watched him do this a couple of times, and he's been lucky every time. But this evening, this road seems to be almost. Well, there you go. There's some other vehicles.
That could be Foster Road. I'm not sure if it is or not, but it would be the next major intersection.
I think they just said Gardena.
Yeah, it's 11:30 at night, and I don't think a lot of people are on the surface streets. You'll find more people on the freeways getting to and from someplace. But, yeah, that street seems to be...
And taking a right, so now he's heading back south.
So Woodruff. Looks... he's slowing down. He's slowing down quite a bit. He's on Woodruff right there, and definitely slowing down. Kind of wondering what's going on right there.
Wondering if he's
that was Rosecrans and Woodruff.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so it's Rosecrans.
He is.
There we go. There, and he's slowing down quite a bit. And they're wondering now: is it the vehicle? Is it the driver? Is he looking for a spot to jump out?
Is he looking to go to somebody he knows?
True.
Yeah.
He's on a, look, everybody has a cell phone now, and I'm sure he's been using his cell phone, pulling off to the left there.
Yep.
Yeah, he's looking for a place to bail.
Either that or the truck is just petering out. I mean, we were talking about it earlier on. There we go, super slow.
Super, yeah.
And you could pit him, but right now you're just kind of wondering why.
Yeah, too slow.
And just keeping an eye on him, I think they're on Potter. I think that's the name of the street, Potter and Bell.
He's coming to a stop.
And it's funny, Jeff, it's not funny because you know what you're talking about. They are actually talking about that right now. Don't get up too close. Don't get up too close.
Yeah.
They want to keep that just enough distance there if that guy gets out and runs. After all this driving, I'm guessing that it's the truck that's given up, not the driver. And I don't know. You think this guy's going to get out and run? I mean, he hasn't been doing anything too cardio this evening, so I don't think it's going to start right now. And there's a tree right there, so that's probably where he's going to stop. We're going to move the helicopter. We're going to move Sky 2 around right now, but you can see
now you have somebody running alongside.
That's an officer. That's an officer.
Yeah,
That's an officer. So they obviously know, or they probably can hear it, that truck is giving up. It's not the driver. So now it's coming to a stop out here. And we'll see, hopefully it's just going to be commands and this thing's going to come to an end peacefully and doesn't turn into a standoff. But the odds of him jumping out and running, I just can't see it with all these officers right there and the helicopter right above him.
No, I can't either. I think he's, now the question is just how much time does he want to take to come out? Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's a lot of times it's almost like an ego thing. It's like I've got control of the situation. I'm not going to, I'm not going to give it up until I absolutely have to. And that it could be a long standoff. It could be, or maybe hopefully this guy just gets out here in just a moment. But as it stands right now, I'm sure they're giving those commands, and we haven't seen any movement. We haven't seen that door crack open. But it's all California Highway Patrol, and it all came to an end out here. I would call this the Bellflower area, just inside of Bellflower. And I heard him say the word Potts Road. I'm not 100%. Maybe our assignment desk copied that, but
we want to just.
It's definitely a residential.
Okay, road. just so we tell everybody in advance, we have about 30 seconds before we have to go to the Late Show.
Yes, we do.
So. Sharon?
Yes, if you want to continue watching the end of this pursuit or this pursuit happening, hopefully it'll come to an end. You can watch it. We'll continue to stream this on CBS LA until this comes to a complete end and safe end, hopefully.
But hopefully the CHP will bring it to an end. All right, we thank you for watching, everybody. CBSLA.com. The Late Show is next.
The Code series premiere, CBS April 9th after NCIS.
And now, the Russian response to the State of the Union.
Good evening. I'm Vladimir Putin. I am President of Russia and James Bond bad guy. I agree with President Trump's call for unity. Both sides must come together and do exactly what he says, that I told him to say. And I applaud his plan for the border wall. We built a wall in Germany, and not one Mexican got into East Berlin. By the way, congratulations to Pete Davidson and Kate Beckinsale. I wish you kids well. So, President Trump, keep doing what you're doing, and I'm sure
I'm sorry we don't have the tech toys. We got all the new tech toys, and the first day we could have used it, the helicopter was down for maintenance. Now I got my assignment desk manager yelling at me. Give me 1 second. Go ahead. We're using it at a normal rate. What do we got for fuel? What do we get? Really? Wow. We got about an hour. You see how that works when we're not up cruising for an hour and the pursuit comes to an end and we're here? I'm just putting it out there. It's fate. The fate is a relationship. So, yeah, sure, let's do it. They might do the dog. I think they're waiting for the canine. I think that's the plan. Okay, so folks on the web, thank you for staying with us here and maybe switching from the old school television to the newfangled internet. At any rate, we do appreciate it. The pursuit did come to an end at a very timely time, almost right at the end of the newscast, so couldn't have planned it any better. I did already do my apologies for not having the tech toys today. We're in the backup helicopter. Sorry about that. It's just the way fate is. This was a pursuit, came to an end. We're out here in a Bellflower neighborhood near the corner of Rosecrans and I think the Bellflower, Rosecrans and Bellflower near that intersection. The truck gave it up before the driver did. He's still sitting in there. Stolen vehicle. So give credit. You know, we just throw out that general low jack. Everybody just says low jack, but there's so many different types out there. Lights are on. Maybe he's going to try and start it. You know, sometimes there's just a little bit of gas that might get him another 50 feet or so. But in this case, it definitely looks like you can see him down there, you know, playing with the shifter and trying to start it. It's not going to happen, buddy. Stolen vehicle, we don't know how it got stolen. That's the one thing I'm always kind of curious about. Is it like a old school, somebody with a Slim Jim out there in a bandit mask, or was it a moment of opportunity or an employee that took the vehicle? You know, we never really find these things out. But in this case, looks like the truck ran out of gas. Thank goodness he did not hit anybody. That's the big thing. We you know, jumping over those gore points, doing that crazy move off the freeway, off the 710 to the 91. That was a stunt. He could have lost it. He could have rolled that thing over. Thank goodness nothing like that happened. Just kind of came to a stop right here. I know, just because I'm ear hustling and listening to what's going on down there, they're kind of they're waiting for a dog to get out here. I don't know if they're just going to, they'd have to break a window, obviously. The dog isn't just going to go over there and open the door and pull the guy out. Would be kind of cool if he did, but it doesn't happen like that. So right now we see just the driver, just going to call him a larger gentleman. So that was one of the reasons why I was going to say probably not going to do much cardio, not going to get out, not going to run. Not saying that big guys don't run. I'm a big guy. I run, I cycle. But just it doesn't seem like it's going to happen here tonight. Law enforcement, that's going to be all California Highway Patrol down there. The light California Highway Patrol helicopter. They did a fantastic job keeping an eye on it. Made our way through a lot of, if you were with us the whole time, you know, we did a little tour of the Long Beach area. We basically drove by a lot of my relatives' homes. We were in Long Beach, Compton. We were all by there. I was kind of wondering if I was going to get a text, but I didn't. No love. Anyways, the pursuit over. The suspect driver of the stolen vehicle not getting out. California Highway Patrol, they're getting their ducks in a row. You know they're going to bring this thing to an end as soon as they can. Boom, ba-dum, bum, bum. Wow. All right, guys and gals, I'm trying to join in here. Marissa, what's up? Of course I do. And Long Beach. I didn't just say Compton. Yeah, the Chippies did a great job. They you know, now that it's all kind of over and we're sitting here and just kind of killing time. All I got to say is they wanted to pit this thing. They really, really wanted to pit it. They were just waiting for the opportunity. They were waiting for that window of opportunity, and also the supervisor to do the thumbs up for them. That didn't happen. So there's always that. Somebody's making a comment about somebody else that might be better to watch. You know what? You know what? I can't even argue that. Let's look at our paychecks. I mean, come on, bro. You know, whatever. Michelle, Rotorhead 8, not here tonight, but that doesn't mean don't follow him. He's always up for some entertainment. We got Fulvio. We have our guest pilot, as it would be, because it's Friday night, and Fulvio stepped up and he did a fantastic job. I don't know, Fulvio, you on the social media? What you want to give a shout out for your handle, or B. Fulvio? B Fulvo? Fulv. You know what? I'm being serious. I'm gonna put it down somewhere, probably on my Twitter, so that if you guys are interested, you can hook up with Fulvio. Like I said, he's our guest pilot and did a fantastic job this evening, keeping an eye on this. Tara, come on, how? You know, he gets one day off and you guys are like all upset. Come on now, come on. So, also a little shameless plug for me. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, it's Stu_Mundel, M-U-N-D-E-L. I'm not a Mandel. Again, I'm going to play that money game. Look at the price. Look at where I live and where the Mandels live. Not the same person. It's M-U-N-D-E-L. But I pretty much all across the board. You got the at the Facebook and the Instagram. Everything is all the same name. What's going on here? Come on, let's do some work, Stu. Stop talking about yourself. Let's not make it about me. Let's make it about whatever this is right here. It's kind of a standoff right now. Law enforcement, they got a stolen vehicle. Started out with a low jack. Good for the low jack. Good for the low jack. We basically followed this thing all through the Southland and Compton and Long Beach and a bunch of freeways, and ran out of gas. We're in Bellflower. Ran out of gas. Got some guy on a bike right there, you know, like, yeah, you know, this is my neighborhood. I don't care about your standoff and the possibility of being shot. So anyways, law enforcement, I'm not giving any positions away. He's clearly got a flashlight. I'm sure everybody can see him. But they are keeping an eye on him. They are concerned about his movements inside the vehicle. They don't know if he's armed. Chances are he's not. Chances are it's all just kind of I'm not, you know, I got control of the situation. So that's it. Liz, I don't know about that. That's not nice. Yeah, Bernie, I bet you he is, and I wish I was too. But you know what? That's the thing. That's just life. Thank you, Richard. So we're going to try to peek around, see what's going on in there. You can see him in the cab of the truck, doing his whatever it is that he's doing in there. Every now and then the light gets a little bit better. That light is Brennan. Hey, Brennan. Hey, just because I know you're on there right now, if you could put out Fulvio's Facebook handle so folks can follow him, because you know how good I am with spelling and all that grammar stuff. Brennan's actually on the feed, so he's going to hook you up. Haven't heard if the canine is en route, if it's getting close, if it's here. We're going to actually do it the old-fashioned way and just take a peek around the corner. Usually we see them make their way over here. The sheriff's department definitely joining the little bit of what's going on. You can see a couple of the officers right there, but all the vehicles right behind them are the California Highway Patrol. And these guys, less than lethal. I'm not sure if they even have those. I got to find out. So we'll keep an eye on that. Thank you, Brennan. You got to think, though, a lot of these guys from California Highway Patrol probably all full of adrenaline themselves, and now they got to stand out here and basically walk it off, as it would be, kind of stand here and wait for this person to get out of the vehicle. He's probably going to sit there until they come up to the car and open the door or bust out the window and help him out. Monica, I don't know, but I would almost guess for sure the insurance company is going to take care of that. Why wouldn't they? Thank you. Somebody is telling me this is not Bellflower, it's Norwalk. It is, it's sure thing. Norwalk it is. Well, I appreciate that, Thomas. No, Fulvio, he is suave. I don't know if you're just going by the name, you are judging a book by its cover, and you would be correct in this case. You would be very correct. They definitely have the manpower to bring this thing to an end. Again, not sure if they're really just waiting on the canine. Even if they do wait on the dog, they're going to have to bust a window before they try to get that guy out. One of the back windows is already broken out. It's got that fancy plastic window repair going on there, duct tape and plastic. So they're lighting him up more just to keep an eye on what he's doing. They're not happy about him moving around in the cab. They don't know what he's going after, what he's doing. Paula, it doesn't make any difference. I could be here for 2 hours. I could be here for 20. It doesn't make any difference. I'm hungry too, and I don't get to eat for quite a while. He wasn't looking at us. I think he's really trying to get this thing started. That's what I'm guessing. Maybe he's just rifling through the poor guy's stuff, whoever's car this is, I mean, I know I got a lot of stuff that probably keeps somebody entertained if they got into my truck, but, what's the point, really? We actually got a lot of fuel. We got a lot of fuel today. We probably got another solid hour on station. We can watch this exciting guy rifling through this poor person's truck. And when I say poor person, I'm not talking about his financial state. I'm talking about the fact that this is a stolen vehicle. And the owner of that vehicle, this guy right now is basically just, doing whatever he's doing. There we go. And we're off. Once again, making a go of it. I don't know what changed or how he got that thing started or why it stopped, but he's on the go again. And my guess is not going to go that far. Officers getting out of the way quickly, as it would be. And for all of you guys that hung out and waited, here's the payoff right there. It looks like he's at least going for a little bit of a ride. I'm still on the page, ran out of gas. Still on the page, ran out of gas. probably got just that little bit of, little bit of oomph. Just anybody who's run out of gas in the past knows that eventually, there'll be just enough in the fuel pump to get it going. And here we go again. So this guy pretty much determined just to be a jerk. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but yeah, just basically, he's just being a knucklehead, and he's gonna keep those officers on their toes. Residential neighborhood, Norwalk. Thank you for. I'm sorry, I forgot the name already, but thank you for that. We are in Norwalk. Moving along very slowly. My guess is that truck is out of gas, and it was just that little moment of, whoop, you got a little bit of gas, and now he's out of gas once again. You know how you can tell that it's coming to an end is when he pulls up underneath a tree, because that's how I know it's going to come to an end. Also, something, too, is keep an eye on the suspect inside the truck, and if he's turning the wheel and he's, like, really straining to turn the wheel, that usually means the motor's off. So, and look at that. We've almost made a little more than a block, and we've come to a stop once again. That little stunt, it might change it up enough where officers might just go ahead and say, we're gonna block him in, or we're gonna put the spike strips out. Maybe they should have put the spike strips out. I'm not second guessing any of our law enforcement, but who knew that was going to happen, right? Yeah, I can imagine the neighbors out here, the lights and sirens, the bullhorns, and the armada of helicopters this evening. I do feel for the folks in the neighborhood, and the only thing I can say is hopefully this will come to an end quickly, and everybody will be able to leave. Something that's interesting, besides the actual pursuit and the guy sitting in the truck, is the long line of civilian vehicles. I don't know if these are looky-loos. I don't know what's the deal right there. I do know that is one attractive news vehicle. I have seen some sexy news vehicles in the past, but that one, yeah. So, but there's a bunch of other folks down there as well. It looks like it's kind of the same deal again. They're just going to get out and get in place. That gentleman right there, they've actually got the shield out, which means they might actually make an approach. And I was wondering about the less than lethal. My guess is that orange right there would definitely mean less than lethal. So maybe they're going to make an approach and forcefully get that nice young person out of that vehicle. That's me being sarcastic. Yeah, I'd like to see that too. No, it's just a reflection. I was like, oh, okay, the door's going to open up, but no. I don't know. Are they shooting pepper balls through the rear window? Through that fancy plastic window? By the way, that's not a Toyota option. That's aftermarket. I don't think that's official Toyota plastic. Okay, Steve, I'm getting some folks asking me those questions. I brought that up early on. I wanted to make that super duper clear. Yes, we got the fancy new map. Yes, it's got all the cool toys. Yes, I am proficient in making it. I know enough to get myself in trouble by putting it on the air, but the reality is that we are in the backup. Shelly Fields, what do you want me to zoom into? Come on, Shelly, you got the zoom. I don't know what do you want? I mean, if I stay tight on the back of the truck, what are you going to see? You got nothing right there. Look at that. What do you got? You got nothing. Oh, there you go. Remember how I mentioned that they should have put the spike strips out earlier on? There they are. There they are. Spike strip. He has spike strips underneath his vehicle, so if he drives off one more time, we're going to have the same thing. Oh, I do hear dogs barking. I wonder where the dogs are at. I wonder if they got the canine nearby. Or maybe it's just neighborhood dogs. Okay, cool, thanks. Fulvio just giving me an update on the dog. He's about 5 minutes out. But what I got to say is it's like you just got to know the dog doesn't show up, jump out, and be like, okay, guys, I got this. I'm just going to go in there and take this guy down. It's just an added layer. They want to make sure the dog is here. Again, they're going to have to break out a window so the dog can get into the actual truck. So that's going to take a couple of minutes. This thing is far from over. The only way this thing's going to come to an end quickly is if that guy just gets out of the truck himself. Shelly, I think, was that Shelly? Sherry. Sherry wants me to give a Lancaster shout out. You know I love the Lancaster and the AV. I live there, so of course I'm all about the AV. But we're not in the AV. We're down here in Norwalk. Thank you for another one of the folks that watches us and writes to us and made sure that I understand that we are not in Bellflower, we're in Norwalk, and I do appreciate it. Raymond Ray says we should take a look through the front window. You want to do an orbit? We are the Media Interactive Helicopter. You ask, we try to deliver to a point. If you're saying like deliver me a pizza, probably not going to happen. Fried zucchini, you know what? I was really disappointed the other day. They were out. Very upsetting. Oh, there he goes, rifling through this poor guy's stuff again. Look at that. What's he doing? Going through his CD collection. Who's got CDs anymore? Looks like he's eating. Believe me, they're going to feed you. Eventually you'll get food. Trust me. He's eating. See, maybe a little more exercise and a little less carbs. Did you just say the canine's here? Look at all those officers. These poor folks out here tonight. If any of you guys are down in any of those homes or like listening to us or watching us right now, all you got to do is say is, I'm sorry. I'm sorry this thing came to an end in your neighborhood. And then somebody down there is probably going to say, well, if you're so sorry, why don't you leave? It wouldn't make any difference. One helicopter out of the Armada is not going to make a difference. Yeah, it looks like he found snacks, right? I'm just telling you, man, they're going to feed him. I don't know what's going on down there. Definitely eating. Yum, 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 yum. Oh, that's good. Yeah, let me... Taylor, I almost believed you there for a moment, but whatever he's eating, it looks like he's got a spoon. And you know what? I mean, I'm not saying you can't eat gummies with a spoon. I just don't think many people eat gummies with a spoon. What do you guys say? You know, you guys are at home watching this stuff. You go grab a snack. I got no snacks. Looks like he found more food. There must have been a lot of food in that truck. Probably was a construction worker's truck. So yeah, pursuit termination. We're sitting out here. Spike strips are underneath the truck just in case he gets that little bit of a go-go juice. That pretty sure that thing is out of gas. He's probably going to try to start her every now and then, see if he can get it to go one more time. I don't know why it's not going anywhere. Yes, assignment desk. Go ahead. You know, I'd put you on the on the web, but we're in the backup helicopter, and I can't route the audio that way. I got to look at it. I know I can do the scanners. I got to look at it because I think if I could have, I probably would have. Yeah, I think I can put the pilot's radios on the air and the scanners, but I don't think our FMs are routed through there. Probably wouldn't make any sense. Well, Victor Park is writing us saying that he's got some great passing shots. So keep an eye out for that. Oh, look at that! He's got the spray out. Yeah, he's eating the guy's food and just found some deodorant because maybe he got a little sweaty during the pursuit. That's my guess. I don't know. Maybe that's a pepper ball. I hope it's a pepper ball. I wish it was a pepper ball. Bring this thing to an end. Yes. Yes, you can, and it is very, 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 very potent. Yeah, but I don't want to get people sick. It'd be like ghost peppers and stuff. Michelle, I don't have any Nikki's food. You know, my chili, when I make my chili, it's not about who made it. It's about how it tastes. That's what it's all about. It's a how a stew. But you do ask how stew is. Let's go. Hey, Fulvio, let's just kind of creep around. I want to see why there's still smoke coming out of there. Are they hitting them with pepper balls? Because I haven't seen that. Or is it just that deodorant thing that he was spraying in there? Oh, he's got the windows down. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Yeah, we're listening as well. That's the reason why I kind of moved around. I want to see what they do. Oh, there goes the door. Of course, we're over here, and the door pops open. Well, there you go. He had his little drive. He ate his little snack. He got a little taste of pepper, and then all of a sudden, it's I need to get out of this vehicle. There we go. There's the gentleman that has eluded us all evening. Now, all of a sudden, following the commands of the California Highway Patrol that obviously you couldn't have followed earlier on, and just brought this thing to an end. But There you go. Oh, that's attractive. Yeah, that's what we need to see. That's what we need on the internet. There we go. He is. He is. I don't even want to guess what it says back there. There we go. And that's how I ended my week. Oh, geez. Oh, come on. Oh, no. What was that? What was that, TOC? Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. There was a lot I could have said, but I just don't want to have to explain it to Tara tomorrow or Monday. Ooh, look at the dog. Woo, that's a big canine. Wonder what his name is. And that brings our show to an end, pretty much. I can't thank you all enough for hanging out with us and staying, especially to the end. We did get that one little move for a moment or two when he drove away. Boy, that dog is big. Jeez, oh Pete, look at the size. Either that or those cops are really small. I don't know. I'm going with big dog. Here, let me help you up. Okay, buddy. There you go. Let's pull your pants up, too. Oh, yeah. All right, assignment desk. It was a thrilling, exciting end, which almost blinded me. Yep. Are we clear to wander back to base? Copy all. Yep, back to base. And we're heading back off to base. Again, let me just do a quick one before they cut us off, because I know they will. Stu_Mundel. Hit me up anywhere. I try to interact with anybody I can, as long as it's PG-ish. And you can find me on Twitter, you can find me on Instagram, and you can find me on the Facebook. Fulvio is our guest pilot this evening, an awesome guy. You're from Italy, right? He's Italian. Brennan was on the feed. He threw the tag out there so you guys can get a hold.